So good morning, everyone. My name is Olga Rataj, and on behalf of the Global Cleantech Innovation Programme team, I would like to welcome you to this site event on connecting the dots. And just to give you some background, the GCIP mission is to support entrepreneurs in emerging markets and developing economies on a system level, while engaging other relevant partners in the national ecosystem to create conducive conditions for the entrepreneurs to thrive. And with this background in mind, I would like to wish you a good event with insightful conversations. And I would like to invite His Excellency Ambassador Badr for some opening remarks.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation. I'm the national coordinator in Egypt of what is called a Green Smart Projects. As you know, we've hosted last year in COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh, the COP process. And the question was, how does the ordinary Egyptian citizen benefit from COP27 or COP28 or etc.? So we've made something unprecedented around the world. Not talking, no rhetoric, etc. We opened the door to all the 110 million Egyptians. If you have green smart projects, and we defined, I don't need to go into details for this audience what green is: clean energy, reduces emissions, waste management, etc. And smart basically means technology, because we thought that these were the two foots for the future. So if anyone in the provinces, from Upper Egypt, from Alexandria, for all the 27 governments in Egypt, if you have such a project which represents the golden word is localization and solutions. Not just any project, but something that presents a solution to the Egyptian context. And as a result of that, last year, we received 6,300 projects from all over Egypt. We did a competition. The head of the evaluation committee was someone renowned called Dr. Mahmoud Mohiddin, who is the global champion for Egypt. We picked 162 finalists from all over Egypt, then 18 of the best. We brought them to COP27. We gave them financial prizes. We made network for them with institutions, financial. So the European Bank, IBRD, adopted 6. The World Bank is working with 2. FAO is working with 3. UN Women is working with 3. Every of this, plus Egyptian financiers. So some of them who began with very little amount of money now became much bigger, etc. So it became including everyone in Egypt, so that the message of clean tech and environment and energy is not only from the government up and down, but coming from down to up. This year we did the same thing. We got this year, because of the economic conditions, 5,700, so 300 less projects. We have the finalists, 162. And next Thursday, we're going to be announcing the 18 winners and give them also financial prizes and network, etc. So this is something that we hope to be a model. The Arab League has given a prize to this, is this #1 sustainability initiative, because it's concrete. There are real people involved, women involved. There's a category of you have to submit your project according to 6 categories. One of them is startups, one of them is women-related projects, one of them is large, one is medium, one is non-profit, and therefore to allow everyone to have a chance to go in. So we were given by the Arab League as the prize, and also we hope that by this model, which is unprecedented around the world, we can get partners with you, whether to join in, whether to replicate it in your countries. So we have already countries that are interested around the world to replicate this model, so to get everyone involved in it. I don't want to speak long, because I know that there could be interactions. I'm ready to answer any questions on the experience, what were the challenges, what were the opportunities. But we felt that this is for the first time when you put this green issue for people, normal people in the street in Egypt. What is green? What do you mean a green project? Do you paint it green? Do we have to do? No, it began an educational, a new mindset for the first time in Egypt, for people to say, there is another avenue for presenting projects. There's another window, not the usual way to apply to governments or to apply to business, that they can take the initiative. So I think I want to thank UNIDO for their help in this, because they are also part of this process. They are helping us in bringing this year's winners to COP28 to showcase with them, so that they can showcase and they can show their projects all over the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you. It's great to hear what is happening in Egypt. Yes. Thank you so much for your introduction. If you're at the entrance, you're very welcome to please walk in to the other side of the room where there are more seats. Good morning. Today's session is titled Connecting the Dots. We are here to connect the dots. And if you can imagine yourself, whether as an individual or as an entity that you represent, as a dot in the ecosystem, we are going to, as Garchin said yesterday, physically connect you so that initiatives that exist but we didn't yet know about can be identified and partnerships can be reached. So that is the main objective of today's session. We have invited, I think it may be a record number for a VEF or IVCF event. You have maybe seen on the website, we have about 20 panelists. So we have 6 speakers who will initially give some interventions, and then we have 15 plus contributors who will bring their expertise into the conversation. Plus, we are just coming out of what we called Cleantech Days, where we invited 16 plus countries, 30 plus entrepreneurs to come to Vienna and explore how we can strengthen the innovation ecosystem. And they are all in this room. So actually the room is full of ecosystem actors, and we want this to be an interactive dialogue. And you can see we are seated in a very unconventional, at least for UN event, it's very unconventional. We've done this so that we can maximize interactivity among the participants. Also to our advantage, we will be going to lunch after. So when you hear each other and you've identified a partner you want to talk to, grab them, go to lunch together, and please continue the conversation. So that's the spirit of this event. I think I don't need to introduce a topic because we are living it every day. So I will skip that part, and I will now ask Rebecca to tell us the rules of the game.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sun Yang. You have heard Sun Yang. We do have, I don't know, 16, 20, up to 20 panelists. And this format, having a panelist, it wouldn't fit. So that's why we thought to do a fishbowl. I don't know if anybody has already heard about a fishbowl. So let me explain. This is the inner circle. The inner circle is taken by the panelists, by the first panelists. They start discussing, and the outer circle, this is you. You are listening. So whenever somebody from the outer circle wants to give a contribution, he is approaching, or she, approaching to the inner circle, taking a seat, and giving the contribution. The people sitting in the inner circle are not obliged to be seated during the whole session. If you feel, okay, you have given your contribution, please feel free to leave the inner circle and to take a seat in the outer circle. Whenever you want to make a contribution and you don't find an empty seat, please just, sorry, it has nothing to do with you personally, just stand behind somebody in the inner circle, and this person is kindly requested to leave the inner circle and to make place, to give space for the person who wants to contribute. It has nothing to do personally with you. It is to bring in some dynamics. It is really to give space and to give the possibility to each and everybody of you to contribute. I can see a question over there. No. Sorry? Okay, you train yourself. Okay, perfect, perfect. Okay, any questions so far? So whenever somebody wants to contribute, please join the inner circle. Thank you. And back to you.
Excellent, thank you. So we are now ready to start. Everyone know the rules of the game. We will start with what we are calling scene exploration. To the 6 speakers in the inner circle, we have asked them to prepare 2 or 3 sentence responses to these guided questions. And we even have a timer ready so that we hold you accountable to the time allotted to you, because we have so many people in this room and we want to maximize our time together. So For the benefit of the participants who are just joining us now, what is your role in the climate and energy innovation ecosystem? What key action are you taking to accelerate the market entry and uptake of innovative solutions? Second question, what challenges do you experience in taking this key action? Which dots of the ecosystem are not yet connected? So, after 6 interventions, I'm hoping that this will spark responses from the room. If you agree with a challenge, say so. If you have already identified how to fill the gap, say so. If you're already doing something in the space, say so. If you find another gap which is very pertinent but was not raised by the speakers, please say so. So, now we start, and I would ask Filippo to start his intervention. May we have the timer starting, please?
Oh my God.
This is hard. Start.
Okay, I'm gonna go quick. My name is Filippo Berardi. Thanks a lot for having me, breaking the ice. I work for the Global Environment Facility. For those of you who might not have heard, it's basically a multilateral climate fund. We collect money from our donors and then sort of direct them towards causes and ideas that we think are gonna contribute to the challenges of climate, of biodiversity, and management of chemicals, etc. So we really are an enabler in this discussion, and our role specifically here has been to provide seed funding for the GCIP itself that now is active in 15 countries. In terms of challenges and gaps and how to link the dots, we had 3 very, very interesting days of discussions. Yesterday we had the advisory board of the GCIP, a lot of discussion around the challenges, and my takeaway and perhaps points that I would like to put forward for discussion here, particularly important from the donor's perspective. I think there are 3. The first one is related to really continue to focus on bridging the gap between the pipeline of ideas that are identified, incubated, and accelerated, and the funding that comes to really support the further stages of development of and all the way up to commercialization of these ideas. We've looked at different ways to bridge this gap. One could be working more closely with private sector corporates that are looking for those solutions and could be upfronted in the process of selecting or creating criteria to select the ideas. Another one would be create specific and ad hoc financial mechanisms, funds that could be co-invested by institutions like mine to take a de-risking role and attract private sector funding. So what really is the best way to bridge that gap, I think, is a central discussion that needs to happen starting today. Second point is sustainability of accelerator incubators. What comes after donors' initial grant funding from public sector sources that are typically very scarce to ensure that these initiatives are internalized at national level. And I think this is a key second point. And my last point in 10 seconds is going to be related to sort of measuring the impact of these investment that we make. What are the tools that we have to do that?
Okay, so it's my turn now. Thank you very much. I'm Gabrielle Tatzberger from the Vienna Business Agency. I'm very much for the invitation. It's a very interesting format. What are we doing? The Vienna Business Agency, I would say, it's, to sum it up, it's an enabler and implementer. And how do we do that? On the one hand, we are giving grants to companies that want to implement innovative projects. For example, last year we also had an international call open, which was called Zero Emission Cities, because Vienna is trying very hard to become a zero emission city, so to reduce CO2 emissions drastically, and we are looking for solutions internationally in order to really realize this aim. And we will start with a call Vienna Planet, which is in the end the same next year. So if you have international startups that can contribute, we are very open to these solutions. The second thing is we are enabling because we are trying to support different kind of initiatives. Like, for example, the Climate Lab was opened last year in Vienna. This is a combination of federal level, but also big corporates like Vienna Energy and other corporates. And this is really a platform in order to bring startups, researchers, corporates together in order to work also on the topic future of energy, how we can realize and implement that here in Vienna, but also for other cities in the world. We also implement, because we are also kind of big landowner here in the city, and there's one big development site north of Vienna. It's Lakeside Aspern, and it's a test model of a future smart city. And there we also support different initiatives, also financially, in order, for example, with the Austrian research, smart city research, we, together with Siemens and other actors, we really have real data in order to see how we can manage energy systems and do this energy management in future. So this is one example where we try to do also in the direction of energy, but we also build technology centers that are energy plus centers in order to show also the rest of the market, and this since 15 years already, that it is possible with an affordable price. And coming to the dots, what we also try very hard is really bringing people together. That's why I'm very happy to be here today. We are doing with Vienna Up, which is a startup festival taking place first week of June next year again. And in this is a co-created festival with more than 50 events taking place in 1 week. And there's also one is Smart City Summit called, where it's exactly the topic of how cities can become smart and sustainable. So if you're interested in that, this is one out of the 15 events that might be of interest for you. But we have a big, many events in the field of social and ecological impact. So I stop here maybe because my time is over, but thank you very much. I'm looking forward.
Hello, my name is Ion Muntean. I'm representing Energy Efficiency Agency of Moldova. Our agency is, I don't see the time, okay. Our agency is responsible for implementation of the state policy in energy efficiency and renewables. Now we are in process of reorganization, considering that the existing realities have to give more flexibility to our agency, and especially in promotion of innovations. Republic of Moldova being a country which depends on import of energy, and a country where the half of the primary energy use is consumed by buildings. Our efforts are oriented in this direction to increase the energy efficiency in the building sector first of all. So in the same time, the government works on preparation of a concept of sandbox approach dedicated to energy sector, where the startups, the companies which intends to implement some innovative ideas in energy sector to get all support of the government to facilitate the procedures they have to follow in order to implement their ideas. Maybe some fiscal advantages or regulatory advantages in order to make easier their way in implementation of these ideas. On the other side, we try to stimulate innovations by promotion of what we have implemented, what we implement. There are interesting projects, interesting ideas. As I said, being a country which depends on imports, we are somehow constrained to innovate. There are already some interesting and innovative ideas which are implemented, most focused on reduction of energy vulnerability of the population. And the role of our agency is to pilot beside to support innovative ideas to be implemented, also to pilot concepts, financing mechanism, which at the moment doesn't work, and to scale up, to give them on the market and to facilitate their operation in order to implement the general objectives of the government. So the main purpose is oriented to the energy efficiency and renewables. In this context, we also monitor the situation, the data, and we propose to the government the appropriate adjustments to the legislation to facilitate innovative ideas to be implemented. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Isabelle Laurencin. I work for the International Finance Corporation. It's the private sector arm of the World Bank, for those who are not familiar. I'm part of the venture team at IFC, and what we do in this department is we invest in startups, in scale-ups in emerging markets, generally when they are at a stage of scaling and commercialization. We invest across industries and across geographies. Climate is obviously a super important topic for us. It's growing, and we have the ambition to invest up to 40% of what we do in venture in climate, and that's roughly 100 million, and I think it's growing over time. The challenge we see is quite simply we don't see enough investment funds. We don't see enough entrepreneurs that are at the stage we're looking at. And so what we do to connect those dots is we support earlier stage companies through supporting early stage funds via a program that we call Startup Catalyst. We are already running this for the second time. And we invest in what we call pre-seed funds, accelerator programs to support the ecosystems and entrepreneurs in emerging markets. Yet, to be honest, we still struggle to see enough companies, entrepreneurs, so we even push the exercise to some investing in venture builders that connects research institutes and founders, successful founders, to create new companies. And we also support the creation of some accelerator programs in some geographies. So this is basically what we're trying to do. The second thing we're trying to do is climate tech, unfortunately, not necessarily emerge from emerging market. As we all know, 95% of climate techs come from Europe, US, and take a very long time to reach our countries. So we have a very specific mandate and a bit of a global approach, and we are now investing across the globe in companies that have addressable markets, and we help accelerate the tech transfer towards those companies. So if you know any companies in Europe or US that is willing to go to any of our countries, we can unlock markets, we can support the transfer, we can provide advisory to facilitate that. That's pretty much what we do. I'm very eager to hear about the audience, very eager to have someone standing behind me and kicking me out of my seat. So I'm leaving my last second to the next speaker. Thank you.
Can I have my 3 minutes, please? Okay, I will not use my 3 minutes. So my name is Gershwin McCure. I am the global coordinator of this program, Global Cleantech Innovation Programme. Happy to see you all here. What we do to support this ecosystem of actors and entrepreneurs is really, we have a three-pronged approach. One is to support entrepreneurs directly through accelerator programs in developing countries. The moment we have 16 countries on board, we want to expand to about 25 developing countries. So we do that through accelerator programs, and hopefully to help these entrepreneurs get networked, get finance through our interventions and through our support. With our country partners, of course, we don't do it alone. On the second side of that, or the second part of that, what we do is we try to support the ecosystems in country that support these entrepreneurs, because we found that these enabling environments are really important for the entrepreneur to survive and to flourish. So both from a demand perspective, but also from a support perspective, whether it's financing, whether it's just mentoring or coaching about or training. These are all aspects, or technical support. These are all aspects that we then hope to support through the program in countries to enable these innovations to flourish. At the same time, we try to coordinate across the globe through our 16-country network at the moment, like we are at the moment here, just to be able to get people to talk to each other, get ecosystems to start working together. I think our main issues are around, as I think Filippo mentioned, is really getting ecosystems to understand and to better enable financing access for these entrepreneurs. Also, that we need to get investors in these ecosystems to start understanding better the clean tech market and to develop, products that best suit the stages of development for these entrepreneurs. What would be helpful also from the audience to know is how do we, in these programs, create end-to-end solutions from an acceleration and support perspective in the shortest period possible for these countries and for these entrepreneurs. So I'd like to hear from the audience how they can help us better understand these. Thanks.
Thank you, Gershwin. Hi, I'm Peter. I run Future Cleantech Architects, and I'm waiting for my time to start, so I'm not unfairly treated here. So go. 301. Look, I run a think tank, and we're a little particular because we're all engineers or chemists usually, and we are very boots on the ground. So we're actually a think-do tank, and we focus exclusively on the hard-to-abate sectors, meaning we're looking at proportions of emissions that are high, if you look at the pie of global emissions, and with solutions in early technology readiness levels, so TRLs somewhere below 7 or something. And what we do is we work both in research consortia, so we're part co-developing technologies, such as on low-carbon cement or on high-temperature heat processes, and then we're trying to take these lessons, we're non-profit, and advise policymakers on creating the most effective frameworks of doing this. And when it comes to the gaps or the dots we would love to connect, there are a couple of them, and some of you have touched upon them obviously already. But the first I would like to mention is actually redundancy. Too many innovation systems, I come from, our system, we are located in Germany, we have people all across Europe working for us, but so too many innovation systems are working in parallel and not bundling the activity. This is particularly true for the EU level, obviously, even though there's a huge potential. And then there's still too much funding flowing into regret applications. Hydrogen is the best example, of course, you probably all know this. Still, a lot of applications are being funded that will not be solved by hydrogen in the long term, which is a waste of resources, because even though a lot of funding right now and a lot of attention is flowing into this, and there's very timely events like this one, resources, after all, are scarce. They're finite. We can only invest each euro or dollar or whatever currency wants. And another thing is when it comes to connecting the dots in festivals, and I've just had to laugh because somebody from UNIDO, who's co-hosting a festival each year with us, came through the door, Vanessa. A week before the Vienna Up Week, we're hosting a Cleantech Innovation Festival. We're trying to bring these people with the policymakers together behind closed doors in Chatham House rules to really address those things that are missing. And last thought on the innovation stages and the startups that are there that don't make it into the mass market. We see a particular valley of death when technologies are relatively mature, when it takes taking new ideas into real-life industry applications. So the first of its kind, real industry application, oftentimes is hard, especially in the sectors we deal with every day. Thank you very much. Over to you.
has been explored by the 6 speakers. So thank you very much to Filippo, to Gabrielle, to Gershwin, Ion, Isabel, and Peter. I'm very sorry for the rudeness. Please don't tell my mom. I was brought up in the Korean household. Please do not tell her how rude I was. Now we are moving on to the suspense, connecting the dots. So this is now the real part of the conversation. And in order to facilitate the discussion, and my very ambitious attempt to color the dots so that we identify who's from which part of the ecosystem is not working, unfortunately, because it's black and white. So apologies for that. But we have here 16 contributors from the private sector, from funding agencies, from research institutions, from the government, from enterprise support initiatives. So, contributors, the floor is yours. I will again vacate my seat so that you can come forward.
There is a seat. Here we do have a seat. Please come and join the inner circle. No, please take a seat, because there might be a question to you.
I hope that we have also less than 3 minutes. My name is Peter Brook. I'm the chairperson of the World Summit Awards. And we run within the United Nations framework, global in 182 countries, the award system for social innovation and social digital ventures. And one of the dots which I want to connect is the dots regarding the relationship between digital and climate. And I think it's very important that each and every one of us realizes that digital and climate, when they connect to local solutions and they connect to a local impact. And for the World Summit Awards, it's so important that you take the metaphor of power lines. Power lines transmit electricity and high-speed data. And that gives you a clear understanding of how we also have to drive the transition in terms of the energy and also the climate change. WSA has, under WSA-global.org, a whole set of about 500 applications over the last 20 years which address environmental and climate issues. And these issues are going from peer-to-peer electricity sharing in Cambodia to water-wise in Portugal, how to save water and also how to economize, to concepts and also geographic information systems regarding tree planting or carbon management. And I think it's very important that when we look at this, we also do the measuring not just of what it does to the climate, but also to the social impact. I think it's a key issue for connecting the dots to have social justice as well as climate justice. And that is a key issue of WSA. Thank you very much.
Hi, thank you for having me here because I'm very delighted to be here. My name is Asetila Köstinger. I run a small innovation studio in Vienna. We design and implement bespoke accelerator and innovation programs. And we have made a decision that our accelerator programs will be always with gender equality in mind and sustainability. And during COVID, we designed a special program. It's called the SDG Innovation Lab. And why we designed it was that we saw everybody was talking about the economy broke down. So the economy, the European economy. And we thought, well, we can buy everything what we need. So we could buy everything what we needed to have normal living, like we could buy food and milk, we could buy music and pencils, music and books, also toilet paper, but the economy broke down. and we said, well, then the economy broke down because we didn't buy the things we didn't need. The SDG Innovation Lab was designed like an accelerator program, but with SMEs in mind. We said, let's try. SMEs are these champions, hidden champions, but all the attention is on the startups. So can we design and help them, these hidden champions that they don't have an innovation or R&D department, to design new products with SDGs. We took the SDGs as a roadmap, and we said, well, let's see which SDG do you comply to. To sum it up, what we noticed is that talking about the future of the economy, maybe we should shift and talk about the economy of the future. Maybe the economy of today is a bit broken and we're trying to save it, or maybe we should really think of having thoughts about the future, the economy of the future that should be just, should be fair, and should be resilient for everyone. And that I mean that everybody should be part of it, and also women, because women are not anymore a minority. We are 50% of the population, so climate crisis has a huge impact also in lives of women, and they should be there also to design solutions that are for this future, for this economy of the future. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Christian Hoffman. First of all, thank you so much for the invitation, also for the continuous cooperation with NIDO. Really appreciate. My name is, as Christian, as I mentioned, I represent the Siemens AG. I'm responsible for international relations and geopolitics globally for the company. Really happy to be here in Vienna in this very important event. Siemens has been with a clear focus on sustainability. So we've been one of the first companies to make our own targets, set our targets to be carbon neutral by 2030, and also a member of the UN Global Compact for over 20 years. We are supporting our customers to transform digitally and sustainably. So the eyeglasses that you wear, the shoes that you wear, maybe the cars that you drive, or the cities that you live, we are creating digital twins of those either products, processes, or cities. So really, through data, understanding where can we support decarbonization. So for us, data or sustainability and decarbonization starts with data. And with that, I would like to point out 3 points from Siemens and connecting the dots, and also really enabling those developments. First of all, we believe as a company alone we cannot solve the problems of the world, so the ecosystem is really, really important. So being here, actually this fishbowl is a great idea, first time I joined, so really appreciate that. And so one example is Sea Green. You can also, all these buzzwords that I might say, you can also find later on. So Sea Green is a tool that helps us, and our customers to identify where the emissions are coming from. So in the electronics industry, maybe 90% is not coming from the own production. It's coming from the whole value chain. So we're helping through the value chain understand where are the emissions coming from through data acquisition, so we can make better decisions. So this is a very important digital technology that we're handling on. Another one is about a broader ecosystem with our customers, partners, universities, and beyond. We are really engaging on a platform which is also a marketplace, a product portfolio showing the best cases on how this digital transformation and this green transformation is taking place. It's called Accelerator. So I will really encourage you also to have a look. Accelerator is really with the ambition to accelerate the digital and green transformation from our customers, from our operations, and of course throughout the ecosystem. And last but not least, we also trigger important initiatives such as Tech for Sustainability, which also we're looking for innovative ideas and also prizes as for the winners, so with a big application process as well, and then really appreciate that. But I think also a great part of the ecosystem is also connecting with on the educational side, and I think we're going to discuss a little bit more maybe on some of the challenges, as I will need to stop. But of course, there's a lot of elements on software and cooperation, curricula development, and training education. I stop here. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, I'm Rabia Bukhari. I'm representing USAID, which is a development agency from United States. We as an agency have changed overall to look at sustainability and reducing emissions, reducing burden, and came up with a Burden Reduction Act and also a climate strategy from 22 to 2030, which talks about how we are doing our part as an agency, as part of agency, and also how we can bring the change in the countries we are working with as a donor agency, as a development agency, to help promote reducing more emissions, using our resources more carefully. So that is one element of how we are looking at sustainability in the long run. But in the market gap, which I wanted to really particularly touch upon, was the clean tech sector, where we designed a program to look at promoting more renewables in private capital for renewables, and then we came up with credit enhancement tool, as in providing risk mitigation to the banking sector so that they can lend more to the private sector companies which are investing in renewable energy. So we worked with Central Bank, who came up with a renewable energy scheme to provide concessional financing, like at the lower interest rates, and then we provided credit enhancement or credit guarantees, partial risk credit guarantees, so that the banks can lend more actually to the renewables. So that was working fine, but there was still another gap where we wanted to connect the dots, where we had to come up with a technical assistance or advisory services sort of project, which can actually produce or work with local SMEs and startups to create bankability, so that you can also address the supply side of it, so that the projects are more bankable, and you can connect those bankable projects, working with them, hand-holding them, creating their business models, financial valuations, and really building their capacity, how they have to really nurture their ideas from very small to a big proposal, and then raise pre-seed round of funding, and then early stage and others round of funding. So we are connecting those investors and those developers which we are working with in the market through various connections and relationships which we have developed. So I think that has together really connected that dots in the ecosystem in the local market. And at the same time, we also have been working closely to work on improving financial sector capacity to understand the ecosystem better in the clean energy space. Over.
Hello everyone, my name is Jussi Viiding, thanks for the invitation. So I work for EP Africa, which is an open-ended trust fund with the mandate to provide risky early-stage financing to clean energy projects in Southern and Eastern Africa. So we are there, I would say, like after the accelerators, to help the companies to prove a concept, show the investors that we can do it. We found a market fit, and then later stage investors can come in and take them to Series A and beyond. So my first message would be to any accelerators in this room working in Southern and Eastern Africa. If you have companies looking about 200,000 euros and up until 1 million, the next call is coming Q1 2024. So we work in a challenge fund format. Then I would say kind of the next challenge after our financing is how to get past that valley of death. And there usually one grant is not enough. And what we are currently doing, trying to kind of help companies kind of use their resources better, is to us grant providers, TA providers, to coordinate better in a very concrete level. So we are in the process of setting up a working group together with PFAN, Efficiency for Access, Get Invest, and the likes to really concretely compare work plans, so that, for example, our grants can build on the good work that is done by PFAN if they supported the company before us. We often easily work in silos. If we can make sure that our resources are used more efficiently, then the companies can benefit from that. And then we also have a strong mandate to do investment facilitation. So we'll try to pitch our portfolio to follow-on investors, and there has been few quite nice examples of that working concretely, because often, especially the local companies, they don't know those impact funds. They tend to come from the global north, and for them to just have that first kind of door opening, us who knows them tell them like these 5 companies are within your investment mandate or soon approaching that in the next couple of years. That's usually quite much appreciated by the follow-on investors. So that's kind of our role in the market, and the main kind of take-home message would be like, how do we better coordinate in this early stage support so that we don't accidentally duplicate, repeat the same mistakes, and hence kind of put those scarce resources to the benefit of the company. Thanks.
The Energy Catalyst Accelerator Program is a special program that connects UK-based institutions and UK-based universities with implementing partners in Africa and Asia that have innovative and clean tech projects to implement. So that's how we're connecting the dot, really already creating those linkages between UK-based institutions and innovations with those in-country partners that can scale up those innovations. Our work at Value for Women is actually to help those projects and those companies to apply a gender and social inclusion lens. So we've seen in the discussions today, we're not going to be able to reach any of the development goals if we're not taking into considerations women and other marginalized groups, particularly when we think about clean energy access and reaching those last mile communities. There is an imperative to actually adopt a gender and social inclusion lens into business models. And how do we do that? So the first step is really to communicate the business case and making companies understand that there is a value in addressing gender and social inclusion issues as part of their business models, because that helps them actually increasing their market reach. We've seen obviously some challenges with those early stage ventures that are often resource constraints, don't have enough capacities or time to go about exploring the market, doing some market research from a GCIP perspective. So that's how we came in to support them in understanding what the markets looks like, what does it mean to apply a gender lens to market research, and then what tools and resources that they can use. And then another challenges we obviously see is the linkages with investors, right? There's a number of impact investors and gender lens investors that are really interested in the clean energy space and the clean tech space. And that's how we want companies to make that business case and the gender aspect front and center to be able to access those fundings. So I ask everyone of you here today who's providing funding, who's providing support to companies, to also communicate that importance of having a gender lens, because that helps not just achieving social impact, but also attracting investments. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Marogisa Makututsa, and I'm the project coordinator for the Global Cleantech Innovation Programme in Lesotho. We are running an accelerator project under UNIDO. So how did the project come about? This was in realization that there are funds that are driven towards developing countries to try and counter the climate effects in the countries, but there were no bankable proposals that were submitted to these funds from Lesotho. That means there is lack of capacity in that regard. So with the support of the Green Climate Fund and UNIDO, we are trying to bridge that gap with the accelerator. And as Gershwin has mentioned also, that we are also able to engage with the ecosystem actors through the ecosystem strengthening component. And to that regard, I would say with regard to our engagement with the innovators that we are currently supporting, The main challenge that we have realized is that they are more eager to get funding and maybe skip other business development steps. But with the engagement of all the trainers within the GCIP network, they have realized that it's most important to try and develop their business models so that they are able now to leverage all the funds that are available and also to be able to pitch to any investors that are interested in such innovations. So we can really say we are already connecting the dots within the network of the GCIP. One other challenge that we are facing is the lack of research and development funds within the country. And this is because the policy, the innovation and research policy is out of date, but the government is really trying to come up with a new policy that will direct funds towards research and innovation for all these innovations that are coming up. Another problem that we realized was lack of supporting laboratories and spaces for innovators to come and talk about all the solutions and the gaps and the challenges that they are facing within the innovation space. So that is where we would say with the Cleantech Days that sessions that we participated in, we were able to talk to some of the partner countries in the GCIP network, and we tried to find linkages as to how they could support us with regard to research and development, as well as laboratories where our innovators can be able to test some of their products, as well as maybe get certification. So yeah, that's how we are trying to connect the dots. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to apologize that the rules of the game will change slightly, and now speakers will have 2 minutes. I would also invite the room to come into the inner circle. So even if you're not a named contributor, you're very, very welcome to come into the inner circle if you'd like to contribute. Thank you. Kevin.
I do need far less than 2 minutes. I just need probably 1 minute. So I really want to sort of prep up some of the other speakers here. I'm Kevin Braithwaite from the Network for Global Innovation. We've had the pleasure of working with our colleagues at UNIDO on GCIP since way back in 2011. In that time, we've seen nearly 1,600 startups. And when it comes to connecting the dots to facilitate clean tech innovation, I think one of the things that we've seen is the very important dots that we need to connect more are the entrepreneurs themselves. Basically, entrepreneurs are the ultimate problem solvers. And I think we can never bet against them. And one of the things we're seeing when we're bringing the entrepreneurs together at different stages, where we're seeing how they're succeeding, how they're failing, what they're doing differently, we can get a lot of learning. I'm really, really pleased we have 3 entrepreneurs here from UNIDO supported programs. And I think they've been coming back to the program this week, giving their advice, their experiences to other entrepreneurs. And I think that's really important. And for our friends at UNIDO, I hope going forward in all the work that you do, you can bring entrepreneurs into that part of the discussion, the way you've done with GCIP and many other programs. But I would like to maybe ask some of the entrepreneurs who are with us to really share some of their experiences, learnings, and how that maybe could be brought to scale.
Thank you, Kevin. My name is Sandy Swakai. I'm the co-founder and managing director of AET Africa. We are a company that's based in South Africa. We offer retrofit energy efficiency solutions for water heating. We've been part of the GCIP program since 2016. And through the program, we've managed to attract funders that assisted us in terms of piloting our innovation. But another thing that we've experienced as a challenge, although we've managed to tap into funding that could assist us to kickstart the program, but we've seen that there's been a disconnect in terms of, or weak ecosystem in terms of how do we bring or barriers to market entry in terms of market access and how companies or corporates see these clean tech innovations, because in my experience, we've also had challenges in terms of getting certification because of industry standards, and corporates are not willing, or manufacturers are not coming into play in terms of assisting us to get the required certification, because in most cases, they've seen us as competitors instead of complementing the value chain in terms of how the retrofit solutions assist them in terms of addressing their sustainable goals in terms of waste management. So that's been the biggest challenge, because as much as we've got these solutions, but to get them into the market, into the hands of consumers where there is no certification, because now consumers have challenges in terms of warranty issues. So what we've realized is that we need a lot of support when it comes to market access and how corporates can come into play, especially not as just customers, but strategic partners, because it's very important in this case is that you can have funding, but if you don't have like market access, then you run out of funding. Then that's the biggest challenge. So through the GCIP program, we really strongly believe through the partnerships that we can bring corporates and all the players in terms of even policymakers in terms of creating enabling environment for clean tech solutions to get into the market space. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Akash Agrawal, CEO of New Leaf, and we are based out of India. So we have been beneficiaries of the UNIDO, FLCTD, and PFAN program. And with the support, we have been able to not only bring the technology from the research and development lab, but making sure getting the access to the market, and not only that, raising the funds to bring that to the end customer, so capturing the market. So we are now a 10-year-old company. We have survived for 10 years. And in these last 10 years, we have built an ecosystem for us to survive. So because there was nothing for us to play around. So we had to make our own ecosystem, which is for making sure that providing access to energy, access to cooling for our farmers so they can store the farm produce at the farm gate using the farm waste. So that is what we have done, making sure that farmers are able to get access to collateral-free loans. They can afford the cold rooms, helping them utilize the cold rooms, and then providing a market to them. So technology plays a central role over here, but with the growing needs of the market, it is not just a one-time technology development. It needs to keep growing. And I think the support has to come again and again to make sure that we are changing with the growing needs of the world and making sure that it is not just a country that we are serving to, but other developing countries that face similar problems. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ramanes. I'm from Free the Seed, founder and owner of this company from Malaysia. I'm here today to share my experience and as well as the journey that I've taken. I do sustainable packaging products to replace single-use plastics, which is one of the major contributors of the global warming and climate change. I use cellulose biotechnology, where we extract the waste rice straw, which is otherwise being burned most of in the country in Asia, by extracting the cellulose, turn the cellulose into a biotechnology fiber that can able to mold into electronics product, medical products, food packaging, fresh produce to replace single-use plastics. 8 years ago, 2014, I enrolled in UNIDO's GCIP program because there are a lot of dots is missing in my company and quite lost. So I approached Malaysian chapter of UNIDO GCIP with the support of UNIDO GCIP, with the support from Cleantech Open, with the support of Jeff. I went through all the 8 to 9 months of coaching and mentoring modules and managed to put in all the building blocks and able to cross the valley of death. As you know, as an entrepreneur and as an owner of a factory, valley of death is very crucial, especially after the POC, proof of concept versus validation. And through the support from GCIP UNIDO, I managed to cross and able to go into the market by addressing the market barriers. And today, I can happily announce the success of UNIDO GCIP especially for me, for my company. We have grown from financial numbers, nearly 9x our turnover from less than $5 million. We have an order book of nearly 20 million US dollars. Our carbon decarbonization metrics from 300,000 kilogram CO2 mitigations. Now we have done nearly 2.2 million kilogram CO2 mitigation from 200 farmers. 1,318 farmers now has involved and improved their livelihood. In terms of connecting dots, I will say no further dots need to be connected because all the dots are full. And in the factory, if we continue dots, that's no ending. We have completed the dots, and now we are going to.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lucy Chapman, part of the consulting team at Cleantech Group. So we are working with UNIDO on the Global Cleantech Innovation Programme, specifically on the ecosystem building piece, and privileged to work with the GCIP partner countries on building their national ecosystems. We also work globally on ecosystem strengthening for cleantech ecosystems, and I wanted to talk specifically about one initiative that we operate in Europe called Cleantech for Europe, which is about bringing the cleantech community, the cleantech innovation community, and EU policymakers closer together. And this is about creating dialogue, bringing the innovation perspective in front of policymakers. We've been running this for about 2 years now. We started in partnership with Breakthrough Energy. It's been very well received on both sides. EU policymakers want to hear the innovation perspective, and they don't always get the opportunities they would like. On the other hand, the cleantech innovators would like to get their perspective across, and they don't always have the resources because startup founders are putting their resources into growing the business and might not have the resources all the time to spend on getting meetings with policymakers. So we do that through a VC coalition, which meets periodically to feed back the obstacles that their portfolio companies are seeing on the ground, and then that gets translated into policy papers or research pieces that can then speak to policymakers. We have also started regional initiatives, more national initiatives in Europe. So we now have UK, France, Baltics and Nordics. We will launch Cleantech for Iberia next week. So these are working more on the national level as well. So this is one way to join the dots and get the innovation perspective in front of your policymakers. Thank you.
Oh, hi. I'm Songbong Tae, co-founder of Green Nerd. Green Nerd is a startup. It's made of two words, green and nerd. Yes, yeah, nerd for the clean tech, yes. So we just started the business this year, so I'm very honored to be here participating in this session as entrepreneurs, because I'm kind of new to this industry. What I have seen this industry is that I think the carbon value chain has not been developed well up to now. So our company is focused on innovating the carbon capture technology by electrifying the carbon capture. There's some like legacy or common technology in carbon capture engineering, but we are going to innovate that other technology. That's a target of the startup. The challenge that I'm facing, the biggest challenge that I'm facing is that like it's very hard for us, like very small startup, to find some very good friend, colleagues, and company to facilitate our technology. So that's why I'm here. I'm kind of I feel very good that I feel like I can make very good network, global network here. So I think I should make it short for this session. So thank you.
Hello, I'm Seung Kim, CEO of Awesome Ray. Remember this startup. Awesome Ray is 5 years tech startup in Korea. and we developed Awesome X-ray. So our company name is Awesome Ray. Today, I want to talk about the very realistic situation of startup. Accelerating startup is very important, but the successful commercialize is more important. But startup is based on the innovative technology. But innovative technology is not familiar with the formal sector policy and regulations. For example, Awesome Ray makes soft X-ray, and soft X-ray ionize particles in the air, including fine dust, bacteria, and virus something. So our modules can be installed air handling unit or HVAC system in the buildings. But the construction law defines only solid filter can be installed in the air handling unit. If our system is installed, we can reduce the energy and our system is filterless, so there is no filter waste. But when our system is adopted, the building owner doing illegal things. So I asked so many times to the government, but they replied, changing law because of only one startup company is not unfair. So it is very hard things. Please help us, Awesome Ray.
Hi, I'm Nikolai. I'm National Coordinator of GCIP Moldova. And for us, connecting the dots, it's not only activity, for us it's more an approach. During the period of implementation of our project, we have different challenges: economic, administrative, legal framework, etc., etc. And connecting the dots, we have an approach, or we have activities, so we try to focus on identify stakeholders, beneficiaries, key decision makers, etc., and to put them in contact and to support them to identify the problem and identify the solution to support cleantech companies, to support cleantech solutions. For example, we take into account the economic crisis or economic turbulence of our country during the last year, when we have inflation rate for around 32%. Practically all financing institutions blocked the activities relating to investment and finance cleantech projects. In our case, so we work it, or we focus it our activity to identify the financing institutions and investors and private companies that are ready to take the risk to implement renewable energy projects and to support them in all process. From my side, to support banking sector to have the right approach on how to identify the best projects, what should be the best solution to finance the project. From other side, entrepreneurs, investors, or companies, we support it on prepare better project, prepare better dossier on application, prepare better presentation of the project. And in this case, connected the companies, connected banking sector, connected entrepreneurs, created these connections to support that investment or financing of the renewable energy projects will go forward. So, thank you.
Great. Is this on? Can you hear me? Yeah, I was hoping to come into the inner circle and awkwardly stand beside someone, but there's so many chairs free now, so you can't do that. So I'm Peter Warren from UNIDO, and I represent a brand new program in UNIDO, literally like a month old, so we're still setting everything up, so you won't have heard of it, but it's called the Accelerate to Demonstrate Facility, A2D, and it's actually UNIDO's largest ever program. It's going to be about $80 million, roughly, in size. It's innovation focused. It's hoping to address some of the issues that have actually been raised today. And I actually thought I would pick out some of them as I've been taking notes on what some of the speakers said. So I think, you know, early on when we talked about TRLs and that challenge of getting the first pilot funded, this is exactly what this program will do. It will do that. It will go into the valley of death between technology readiness levels 3 to 7, and particularly in that earlier stage where there isn't that funding to get that first pilot. that a lot of the other existing programs and financing institutions, like the IFC that was in there, that has been replaced now, who have the venture investing programs, doing some really great work at that later end. This will come at the slightly earlier stage to that. Now, I think one of the challenges there is how do you get these different programs and different financial instruments together, working together? There are a lot of programs out there, so linking them together is the key thing. How do you get collaboration between funding agencies, between the program level? So that's what hopefully this program could hope to do in pilot test cases of that. Now it's cutting across different themes, everything from industrial decarbonisation, which I think the other Peter who was sitting there mentioned, hard-to-abate sectors. Also, I think, Felipe, what you were saying with the climate investment funds work, there's obviously the new industrial decarbonisation programme there as well, a whole range of things that are happening. I have 10 seconds left, so this is just to let you know there's a new programme coming to hopefully address some of these issues, obviously not all of them. One programme can't do that alone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So that is a new dot in the ecosystem that we can look forward to. This has been, I think, the most productive 1 hour and 15 minutes I have ever spent. So thank you so much for all the contributors. Marco, what do you think? Do you have some words for us to close with?
Just a few, because I think everyone is dying as well to connect the dots somewhere else, namely during lunch. Yeah, I just wanted to thank everyone, the contributors, the speakers, and the people in the room to be here, to connect the dots. We hope it was a good opportunity to make those connections and carry them through the rest of the conference. And yeah, I think a lot of people already have said, I think UNIDO is proud to put a lot of emphasis on connecting the dots. We're doing this increasingly between the two programs that have been mentioned before, GCIP and PFAN, and the new kit on the block A2D fits nicely into that, connecting the dots even further. So yeah, maybe 3 things I think to take away from the discussions. I think it's clear we need both local and global coordination, and the work that UC mentioned that PFAN is part of as well is a good example there on a more regional basis in a specific area. But I think also the GCIP example spoke a lot to you need that connecting the dots on a country level, but then also between countries. I think we need alternative solutions, not energy solutions, but also finance solutions. Isabel mentioned there's still some gaps there, and we see that as well. But last but not least, I think time is running out, not just for this session, but also for us. So I think it's also time to take action. So with that, I'd like to thank you again for being here. Enjoy your lunch and enjoy the rest of the conference in connecting the dots further. Ramanesh doesn't need it, but I think the rest probably needs, can do with a bit more connecting the dots. Thank you.
So thank you so much for joining us. Now go connect the dots. I want to also take this opportunity to thank Rebecca from Siemens. This was actually an experiment. I don't know if you know it, but you've been in part of an experiment, and I think we can say it's been a successful experiment. So thank you, Rebecca, for suggesting this format. Enjoy your lunch. Thank you.